Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, the show that takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible.
Welcome to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're staying connected with friends and family. And I hope you're ready for a good episode, because I'm excited to share this information with you today. So today I thought I would talk about some health benefits of having a routine. Recently, as we all know, life has gotten a little bit chaotic. I bet you a lot of us have fallen out of routine more forcefully than, if we would have just chosen to do that, but that's okay. I just thought this would be a good time to talk about routine, implementing a routine, creating a new one, and just the overall health benefits of a routine. Of course, there's like the physical health benefits of, structure and, planning your workouts and eating well and all those things, but there are so many mental benefits to having a routine, and I'm going to touch a lot about mental health and how a routine can really help you stay on track, help you stay focused and happy, and just kind of feel a little bit more in control. If you are somebody that suffers with like mental illnesses, as anxiety, depression, anything like that, you will know, yourself, that it can be hard to find structure, to stick to structure, I shouldn't even just say structure, to stick to an outline of a daily things that you need to do. So today I just thought I would talk about all about that, implementing a routine, the importance of routine, the mental and physical benefits of a routine. There's just so much great things that can happen from having a routine. I think a routine can really be our anchor. It's something that we can always go back to. I am a huge routine person. I've always been a huge routine person. Since I was little, I would, take a piece of paper and write 7 a.m. wake up, 7:02 brush teeth. Like, my family still bugs me about it to this day because I was had to, be on time with everything and have everything organized, and I'm still really like that way. But I've learned to find a balance between, having that structure and not beating myself up if I fall off track a little bit, or, I feel like it's okay. Like, you don't have to, wake up at 7 and be brushing your teeth by 7:02 a.m. every single day. And I've had to find that, lenience in my routine, because I used to be pretty strict with it growing up. But I am finding, ways to overcome that, and just to find the healthy balance of structure and also, letting go and just letting things happen for how they are. I think there's magic kind of in all of that. So let's just jump right into some information for you. So like I said, a routine can really anchor us. It can make us feel centered and aligned and present. And when we are present and aligned with all of, our core values and our goals and what we want out of life, that just makes things, so much more organized, so much easier. It brings more happiness to our lives. Being present and just being aligned, I think, is one of the most important things to, really feel like yourself and to feel on track. So I find that a routine can really help me feel present, because, sometimes if I don't have a routine, or I go off of a routine for quite some time, I begin to get a little bit lost. You're kind of you get a little more lazy. You kind of just, sometimes all of a sudden it's like, I have stuff I could do, but then you just you don't want to. I find that a routine can really motivate you. It can really get you going, get you up in the morning, especially if you start your routine with something that you love. And I'm going to get into that. There's lots of tips of, the type of routine that you might need, the things that you should implement into your routine. But bottom line is that it's different for everybody. Depends on, where you are aligned with your life, where you're at in general, what kind of person you are. If you are the type of person that's wake up at 7 o'clock and brush your teeth by 7:02, then that's amazing. If you're not, that's okay too. There's ways that you can, the thing is like your routine is for you. It's all about you. It's as selfish as you can make it, it's what you need to do. And sometimes, of course, there's things in a routine that we have to do, like work or school or pay the bills, like things like that. But for most of it, we can decide what we want to do with our day. We can wake up and decide, I want to start my day off with a morning workout. I want to start my day off with 30 minutes of reading with my morning coffee. Like, we get to decide how we start our day, and I think that's huge. As well as, we get to decide how we end our day. Do we want to end it while reading a good book or watching a show with family? Or, do you want to stretch and go to bed? What do you want to do? And that's the thing with routines, is they're for you. It's your routine. It's nobody else's. And you can make what you want of it. And this is also, I think, another psychological benefit to it, because you literally get to put in things that make you happy. If waking up in the morning and going for a workout makes you happy, implement into your routine. If waking up and having a chill morning and, reading a book for 30 minutes or scrolling through social media for 30 minutes while you drink your morning coffee makes you happy, well, then do that. And this is, that's just an obvious benefit of if you're doing things that you genuinely enjoy, that genuinely make you happy, you're going to be a happier person. You're going to feel more controlled. You're going to feel your emotions are just, they're at peace because you're present and you're aligned and you're doing things that benefit you specifically, nobody else's agenda. I find that when we're working around other people, when, someone else tries to implement their routine on us or tries to, where we have to follow someone else's schedule for a while, it's just really inconvenient. I don't know how selfish that is of me, but, when you have to, sometimes we all have that we all have that one friend that, says they're going to be there in 10 minutes and they're there in an hour, and it's always on their schedule, and you just learn to adjust to it. You learn to, invite them at a separate time than they're actually supposed to show up, because you just know that they're always going to be late, or, they're just always going to be on their own schedule. And as much as sometimes those people annoy me, those friends annoy me, I also, I respect it, because you follow your own schedule, your own path, and you do it. Of course, we got to be respectful of others that we're implementing into our routine, but I do respect always following, what you want to do in a sense. But we make routines for physical reasons, like, exercise, diet, work organization, habits, helping family, friends, spending time with family and friends. But we also need to make a routine not just for physical things like exercise and our bodies. It's for our minds as well. We make room for physical exercise and nutritional eating, but often we forget to make time for mental exercise and mental nutrition, which, I think is a lot of, just time to think, time to reflect, time to plan, time to process thoughts, maybe, deal with some emotions. Like, we need to make more time for those, and that's really what I'm going to cover in today as well, is implementing those psychological things, those, mind things that are going to keep you healthy and happy and aligned with that happy, healthy mindset as well. But like I said, there's different types of routines, and it depends on what you're doing. And I think your routine's going to change thousands of times throughout your life, because you're on different tracks at different times in your life, and your goals are different, and you might get a new job, and your times are different, your schedule's different. Things are always adjusting, and we have to be able to be open-minded to adjustments, because, I think adjustments are healthy and change is healthy. But if you are in the mindset right now, you are in, the idea, you're in the zone of your life where you're working on your career, or you're working on school or something like that, you're going to have a productive and maybe creative routine depending on what you're doing. And I find that when we have one, really big thing that we're focusing on, whether it be a career, whether it be relationships with people, friends, family, those kind of connections, whether it be like just working on yourself, if you're like specifically working on your mental health, if you're, specifically working on developing yourself as a person, learning new things, finding a new passion, well, then you're going to build your routine around that goal. And so I think the first thing that you need to do when implementing a routine is finding, that thing that you want to focus on right now in your life. Where are you at in your life? Ask yourself that. Where am I right now? Am I in the midst of my studies? Am I, working for a promotion? And am I really just need to take a step back and focus on me for a while? Do I really want to put time into my friends and family at this time in my life? Find what's going to align with you and your values and where you're at, and the rest is going to come a lot simpler. I hope this all makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling on, but I have so much information to share, just about tips to get into a routine, things that are going to work for you, things that might work for you but not for others, or vice versa. So stay tuned. It's time for a little bit of a break, but we're going to talk about managing your anxiety, your mental illnesses with routines, your physical things. All of that is coming up just after the break. Recently, I was given a task to come up with a logo. And it's a logo for myself, for my own brand. So you would think that would be easy, right? Let me tell you, it is not easy. Coming up with a creative design that's unique and appealing, that's going to pull an audience in, that's a lot of pressure. This is why I use DesignCrowd. DesignCrowd's a website that lets you outreach professional designers from all over the world. That means you can get ideas from creative minds from across the globe. How cool is that? Take the pressure off yourself and use DesignCrowd. All you have to do is go to designcrowd.com/lifeandhappiness or enter the promo code lifeandhappiness, and you can receive up to $150 off your first design project. Take that weight lifted off your shoulders and let professionals create the perfect design for you. Welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. We're back. We're talking about routines, implementing routines for your mental and physical health, your overall goals, just to implement that, happy and healthy lifestyle that I always talk about. Okay, so routines, I just talked about how routines, you design your own routine for where you are at in your life, and identifying where you're at in your life is the first step of creating the perfect routine for yourself. Routines really allow you to make room for what's important to you. Often when we really love and enjoy doing something, sometimes, we kind of push it aside. It's something that, I don't really have time to do that. Maybe you really like cooking, but, you don't make time for it, or you don't make time to the depth, that you wish you could, or really, maybe you like painting, or you like any kind of hobby, and you push it to the side because, life's just too busy. And life is too busy. Life is constantly on the go all the time, and we need to slow down, and we need to make time for the things that are important. If you love cooking, but you're always swamped with work in the evening, to make dinner, maybe you're swamped in the evening because you weren't productive enough in the morning, and maybe you need to implement a stronger morning routine so that you don't have to worry about not having time to cook at night. You get to just do your thing because you did all the important things in the morning. This all kind of depends on what you want to do. If you want time to relax at night, maybe you need to make a stronger morning routine, but maybe you're not a morning person at all and you like your nighttime, and maybe you need to push things to later in the day. If you find that you're more productive later in the evening, then you give yourself the time to sleep in a little bit later. It all kind of depends on where you're aligned and what you want. So focus on that. Think about that a little bit. But routines really allow you to get better at something. Think of it. If we have a daily routine, we're constantly doing it. It's just like practice makes perfect, you know? Consistency over and over and over again. That's what makes things perfect. So if you do have a hobby or you do love cooking and you implement cooking into your life every single day by, you know, I'm going to make myself a new dinner. I'm going to cook myself a healthy meal every single day. Over time, you're going to continue to get better and better and better at cooking. Or if you like painting, or, you know, whatever the hobby is, or even if it's not a hobby, if it's just, you know, something that you have to do on a day-to-day basis, that involves practice. That's repetition. And the more you repeat something, the better you're going to be at it. So think of it that way too, you know, implementing routine. When you're thinking of things that you want to do on a day-to-day basis, is there anything that you want to get better at? Implement that into your routine, and over time, all of a sudden, you become a master at this thing that you just implement into your daily routine. Maybe it's stretching. Maybe you really want to do the splits in weird positions. I don't know. You know, maybe you need to wake up every morning and stretch, and over time, you're going to get more and more flexible so you can do all the crazy acrobatic things that you dream about doing. Like, whatever the case is, try to implement those things into your daily routine, and you'll just find yourself bettering your skills constantly. Having a routine can also help you break bad habits. When you have a scheduled time to do your chores, your work, pay your bills, grocery shop, meal prep, you know, all those things that we have to do on a day-to-day, maybe not a day-to-day basis, but constantly. Sometimes if we don't have all those things in a routine kind of set out, we get overwhelmed. Oh, I have all these things I need to get done, and you kind of overthink it, and you get a little bit more stressed out because I need to pay bills, I need to clean the house, I need to do this and this and this. But if you implement these things into your routine consistently, then all of a sudden you're not going to be overwhelmed at the end of the month when you have to go through all this paperwork or do all these different things just to kind of try to catch up. You'll find yourself, you know, not having to catch up. And then you'll have, you know, by having that routine too, you're going to be breaking those bad habits. You're going to be less stressed out. Having a routine reduces your stress immensely because things are planned out for you. You are no longer trying to, you know, get things done last minute. You're no longer disorganized and just kind of feeling off balance. All of a sudden you are organized and you are balanced and you feel good and you feel kind of at peace and present. Again, it's all about being present, because when we don't have a routine, sometimes we just let things pile up when we don't have the motivation, especially, and then that causes more stress. So if you are also somebody that suffers, you know, with anxiety and depression, you know, having a routine means that you can consistently check in on yourself with how you're feeling and how things are affecting you, you know. Like I talked about making time for the mental health benefits of a routine, and that's like reflecting and thinking and, you know, planning and organizing your dreams and discussing all those things and really going step by step into what you want and what you need to do. And we often don't take the time just to write things down. And just to get back on track, but having a routine can help you do that. So if you can implement daily journaling to your routine, you know, I talk about daily journaling constantly. I am like a full-blown, like, I am daily journaler enthusiast. Like, I think everyone should just write things down constantly. Do your reflection, do all those things that you need to kind of, you know, feel on track and balanced with your life. So implement those, you know, not just physical things like exercise and that kind of stuff, but you have to implement mental things. And so I thought I would kind of break it up into 3 different factors that you should think about while you're trying to develop your routine. So the first kind of, I guess, aspect of your life is your personal aspect. You know, what is something that you love doing? Is it cooking? Is it painting? Is it running? You know, is it enjoying your cup of coffee for 20 minutes in the morning while checking the news? You know, implement these things into your life and your routine that are going to be bettering you. Like, this is the whole personal factor. Be selfish. Be, you know, personally, what are things that you want to work on? And then take those things and implement them into your routine. What are habits that you want to implement, you know? What are things that you enjoy and that you need to make time for? You need to make time in your routine for those specific things. So the first one's personal. The second one is relationship level. You know, what can you do to connect with others during your day? whether it's family, friends, whether you get to bring a cup of coffee to your spouse at work, whether you get to talk to your grandma on the phone, whether you get to FaceTime your mom, or maybe you get to go have a coffee with your mom twice a week. Whatever the case may be, what are the things that you want to do on a relationship level in your routine? Maybe it's a romantic partner. Maybe you want to make them dinner a few times a week. Maybe you want to, just spend more time at night with them watching a Netflix series or whatever that is. Often we forget to plan the things with our loved ones. We forget to plan, just watching a movie with one of our friends or our spouse or a romantic partner, whatever it is. And so put that stuff into your routine, and then you'll find yourself, feeling more organized and just good and connected with others. We have to connect with others and talk to others, and sometimes we just forget to do that in the midst of our busy, chaotic life, with work and with education, or just daily things that we have to go through. We forget to make time to connect with others. So always think about, the relationship aspect of your life, and if there's anything that you want to implement that wise into your daily routine. And then the third thing is on your career level. This doesn't mean that you have to become a workaholic to get that promotion, but what is something that you can do on a day-to-day basis in your routine that's going to help you better yourself with your career? Is it reading a book about, something to do with your career? Is it doing extra work sometimes, or scheduling out your work planner to be the most efficient? I think there's so many different things with our careers that we can try to implement on a day-to-day basis. Maybe you want to do extra work. Maybe you just want to do things around the office. Think about the things that you want to do for your career level. So there's personal, relationship, and career level. Those are three, factors of your life, three aspects of your life that you should really try to think about specific things in those three categories that you want to implement into your routine, so that you ensure that you are, implementing the right things for you that do align with your lives and do align with everything. The most important thing is to implement things from these three elements of your life, and make sure they're all aligned with your goals. And so you always have to ask yourself, where am I right now? What do I want in these three levels, in my personal level, relationship level, and career level? What are the things that I need to really work on during this time? And then you put those into your routine, and all of a sudden, after time, practice makes perfect. You're going to get better and better and better until you'll have to adjust your routine because you'll outgrow it, and you'll need new things to work on and new things to implement into it. So try to think on those three factors. I think you can really pull a lot of information from your life, a lot of things that you need to work on through those, and create the perfect routine for you. All right, it's time for another break. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, I have some more information to share with you, and I cannot wait, so stay tuned. Now that you probably feel a little bit of weight lifted off your shoulders after hearing about Design Crowd, let me dive in and lift some more weight off of your shoulders. When you're stuck for ideas to develop your logo or website design, it can be really difficult. But with Design Crowd, you're outreaching professional designers. Over 750,000 of them, to be exact. No more waiting for agencies to pitch an idea, no expensive fees. You can get exactly what you need in just 3 days. You basically send a brief description of what you want. Within days, hours even, all of these designs come flooding in. You get to pick your favorite one, confirm the payment with the designer, and it's yours. As easy as that, no pressure, no stress. This allows small companies to use creative minds all over the world at such a low cost. Go to designcrowd.com/lifeandhappiness. Welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Alyssa Jo. So I just went over kind of the 3 factors that you need to think about when you're trying to start a new routine or just implement new things into your routine. So that's personal, relationship, and career level. If you can kind of go through those and pick out things, your routine's going to be set up just for you, which is exactly what you need. The thing is with routines too, like it can really, you can implement things that align with your goals, but it can also go kind of both ways. If you don't know your purpose, you don't know your goals, and you're still trying to figure out what you want to do or where you should go next to make you the happiest, well, having a routine can really help you do that. Maybe you need a routine that involves like trying new things. If you wake up with a similar routine and the mindset to discover something about yourself that day, then big things can really happen. I think it's really what you wake up and kind of set your mind to each day to kind of determines what benefits too you're going to get out of that routine. If you like kind of stick to your routine some days and you're kind of like, yeah, like, is what it is kind of thing. Sometimes you switch it up, sometimes you don't, sometimes you fall off track. Like, it's okay to fall off track, but you have to hold yourself accountable, to your routine, or else it's not going to work. And those things just won't, you won't get all the benefits that you can from having a routine. Like I've said before, some people are really strict on their routine. People have to be doing something at the exact time that they planned it, while others are a little bit more lenient. But this just depends on who you are, finding that healthy balance for you. The thing is, too, is I think we all get that mental satisfaction of checking off our to-do list. And I've really said that, routine can have a lot of mental health benefits, and it really, really can. And I think part of that mental health benefit is just that reward of checking off your to-do list, checking off your schedule, and, being like, oh yeah, like, I get it. Like, like you kind of can come full circle and check things off, and that makes you feel accomplished. It makes you feel like, you're going somewhere, you're achieving those small goals. So even just, checking off those things can be like a weight lifted off of your shoulder. A routine can really help you with your sleep schedule. I have a whole episode on sleeping and how important sleep is for your mental health, and I'm not kidding. It is so crucial, and it's something that we kind of overlook a lot of the time, or we take advantage of sometimes, and we don't actually appreciate a good night's sleep. Sometimes we we'll work longer, or we'll do other things instead of getting a good night's sleep. But the benefits from a good night's sleep is just absolutely crazy. Like, it's just, there's so many benefits, and having that routine means that you're going to be able to have a regular sleep schedule, and that does wonders for your body clock and everything in it. So you really I honestly think, if anything out of, implementing a routine, if you're going to get anything out of it, a regular sleep schedule is one of the best things. Like, that can do wonders. When you go to bed at the same time and you wake up at the same time, every single day, or most of the time during the week, it literally, your body just works so well. It works so much better. Your mind, you're just going to be consistent. Consistency is key in so many aspects of life, and still with your schedule, your routine, your sleeping, that is really going to help by, implementing those strong things into your routine. I think when I really start to if I have a change in my life and I'm starting a new routine, I always try to figure out kind of the basics first. Is, when do I need to wake up? When do I need to go to sleep? When do I have time to I like to meal prep. So I'm like, okay, well, where am I going to meal prep? When am I going to do that? So I'm fueling my body with the right things. So kind of start with your basics, sleep, eating, exercise. I find that those are kind of the 3 basics that, we kind of all need to implement in our life. So if it's a 30-minute walk, or, you take the time to make a hearty breakfast, but the most consistent thing should be is your sleep schedule. So keep that in mind. But with routines, you're also going to get healthier eating patterns. If you wake up at the same time, you're going to start to, be hungry at the same time too. You're going to start making breakfast at the same time, and making time to make a hearty breakfast is a huge deal as well. But with that consistent sleep schedule and all that going on, you're going to have that consistent eating schedule as well. Your body is just kind of it's going to all sync. You're going to be aligned with everything. You're also going to be more productive. It's going to lower your stress levels, like I've mentioned. Just having a routine makes you feel like you are on track. I really think it can help you find your purpose. People that have, that suffer from severe depression, anxiety, things like that, you can have a really hard time just getting out of bed. And I find that if you have a routine and you have something to look forward to, you have stuff to do, it can give you a little bit motivation to get out and to get moving. And just having a routine and feeling like you have a purpose, you got to wake up and you got to keep your day going, and you got to keep healthy, and you got to fuel your body and exercise and educate yourself and all these things. And when you kind of finalize a routine, I just feel like it gives you motivation to get all those things done. But this all starts, with I think planning your goals, aligning your values, maybe create your vision board of, what you want the next few months to look like. Just some ideas that can help you implement certain things into your routine. But I think all around, there's morning routine, night routine, just a daily routine. They can all kind of be combined. But if you're more of a morning person, focus on a stronger morning routine. If you're more of a night person, focus on a stronger night routine. And everything in the middle will kind of come together. I find my biggest thing that I've learned is that I've forced myself, or I'm still kind of forcing myself to become a morning person. I'm waking up early because I feel better about myself with getting things done in the morning than I'm not so hard on myself in the afternoon. So if you can, becoming a morning person and waking up early and getting stuff done, I think having a morning routine just sets you up for a productive day, for a successful day. For me, I like to wake up in the morning and I like to have my morning workout, and that sets my day up for just productive. I don't have to think about going to the gym later in the day, or I'll be too antsy if I don't get some exercise. I know for me, my mind, especially my body too, I'll get antsy with my body, but even my mind will wander if I don't exercise. So try to exercise and try to, get moving and that kind of stuff. And I just find for me in the morning, it works the best. But if you are completely a night person and you work better at night, then implement a stronger night schedule. I just find that when I get up and I get stuff done, I focus better during the day because I'm not, for me too, it's in the morning I get up and get stuff done around the house, maybe I'll clean my car out, get gas, do those things in the morning if I have time to, go to the gym, just things for me that I need to get done, and then the rest of the day I can focus on my career stuff and my work and spending time with friends and family. I just find when I get all the other personal stuff out of the way, then I can just focus on, more of my other goals and things that I need to be working on right now. So see what works for you. If you are a morning person or you want to become a morning person, I highly suggest that. I'm going to do a whole episode on becoming a morning person because it's just done wonders for my life recently, because I never was. And sadly, I'm still kind of a night person as well, which makes, being a morning person extra difficult. But I'm working. I'm trying to adjust my sleep schedules. I'm trying to adjust just my body into becoming a morning person so I can set that up, that productive day up. But this all comes with having a routine and having a schedule and finding what works for you. When we wake up and we set ourselves, we have a routine, we're setting ourselves up for success. We're putting all those things written down, what do I need to do today? You have that plan. And I think, making the routine, coming up with the things that you want to implement into your routine is the easiest part. It's actually following through and doing it. And it's how do I make sure I stick to my routine, and how do I get all those health benefits? And my advice for that is you really need to be aligned just with your core values and what you want. And if you really want something, you're going to wake up and you're going to do it and you're going to keep going. And it's finding that balance between, letting yourself, have an off day and not beating yourself up on that, but getting back on track. I find if I put something, at the beginning of my day that I absolutely have to do, sometimes I'll put I'll force myself to wake up and get work done in the morning, and in my mind, if I promise myself that I'm going to get X amount of work done before I, leave my house, I hold myself to my own promises. Easier said than done once again, but it's all about your relationship that you have with you, that you have with yourself. Nobody else can really force you to, stick to your routine. You can definitely, I think, talking to friends and family and letting them know, like, hey, like, I really want to implement this healthy routine into my life. I really want to try to stay focused and on track and get my sleep schedules and eating schedules all aligned. Then you can have your friends and family that are going to help you do that and help push you to make sure you're going to continue to do that. But we don't always have that luxury to, get people to, bug us sometimes. Or for me, I'm like, I don't want to bug people to bug me. It's like how I go. So I write myself little notes. That's always a good thing. I set myself reminders on my phone, especially when you first start a routine that might be a little bit different than your regular schedule. Setting alerts and alarms and all those things can really help you stay on track. Sometimes I just need a little reminder, and if my phone goes off and tells me that, like, oh yeah, like you are supposed to be, stretching at noon or whatever it is, I'll just do that. And always, you can reward yourself too for sticking to your routine. There is no shame in giving yourself a reward. I don't know what kind of reward you might want to do. If you want to, put money in a jar and save up to go somewhere, if you want to give yourself a treat or whatever it is for you, don't have any shame in giving yourself a reward, because sticking to a routine and sticking to, healthy habits and your goals is really difficult, and it's okay to reward yourself. Eventually you're not going to need a reward, and eventually you're just going to do it naturally, and that's kind of what we're all aiming for at the end, which is what a routine will help you do. But until then, don't feel shame in, giving yourself a reward or, falling off track a little bit. As long as you can pick yourself back up and get back on track and feel aligned, that's all that matters. So try to, set yourself reminders, hold yourself accountable, put things into your routine that you absolutely have to do. If you absolutely have to do something and you can't lay in bed any longer, you have to wake up and do this by a certain time. Maybe you have animals. Maybe it's, maybe you're switching your pet schedule to, eating in the morning at this certain time. And then, once they get on that routine, you got to get on that routine, and you got to just hold yourself accountable. So there's little things that you can do, that kind of can force you to stay on track. Outline the basics, your sleep schedule, eating schedule, exercise, and then fill in all the gaps with what, you're kind of doing. Always think about your personal, your career, all those different factors, as well as the relationships, and making sure that you're making time to connect with others. Sometimes when we get on a strict routine, we're just so focused on ourselves that we forget, friends, family, human connection is actually really crucial to our growth and to our goals. So make sure you're making time for those connections and for that whole thing. Just connect with people. Don't be too strict with what you got going on. It's important to socialize, and if you need to schedule your socializing time, then schedule your socializing time. It all depends on who you are. You get to choose how your day goes. You get to choose your mindset towards it. So trust yourself and build that routine that's going to benefit all different aspects of your life. And then you will automatically receive all these health benefits, physical, psychological, just reaching your goals faster by doing this. All right, that is all the information I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. I had an amazing time sharing all this information with you. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button, to like and follow us on social media, and leave a 5-star review. It's greatly appreciated, and I look forward to next time. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find the show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast.